So our Airbnb guest got here and canceled within 5 minutes and just left. So there was no way that she could stay somewhere like this because she saw this.
It's funny how people will post things expecting to get a certain type of reaction, but then in the comment section, it's the opposite reaction. I don't think she expected to get the responses that she was getting in that comment section. Nobody felt sorry for her. I don't feel sorry for her either. And it's not because I'm some super anti-Republican or nothing like that. It's just simply when it comes to business and making money, you never involve politics and religion. If you're trying to make money, if the goal is to make money, the moment you start putting your personal beliefs out there, you know, your political views, your religious beliefs, understand that you're going to be isolating yourself from a large portion of people. That's money coming out of your pocket. When it comes to something like an Airbnb, there's no reason why you should have anything up that's showing your political beliefs or your religious beliefs or anything like that. If your goal is to make money, that's nobody's business. You should be making that place feel inviting to everyone. And the reason why you do that is because there are people out there that will not support you just because of your political views or just because of your religion. And they have every right to do that. And that's why you just don't bring it up. Nobody needed to know that.
If you are an Airbnb host and decide that you want to proudly display your Trump and Vance sign, you need to be prepared for people to roll them out. And instead, you posted videos saying, oh, a guest came up and immediately left. And then you zoom into the reason that she left. I'm sorry, you think she was going to feel safe on your form that's sitting out in the middle of nowhere? No, what we would need is for you to put in your Airbnb description that you are part of MAGA, that you are a Trump and Vance supporter. If not, be prepared for people to roll the fuck out. I don't care about you posting, baby, the comments in that video, people are like 1000%. Get the hell out of there. I don't want to come. You're not going to take my money. And you support Donald Trump. Either take your sign down or be prepared for people to leave. And I hope that guest writes a review for the reasons why she left and why she canceled.
I'm going to sit down and I'm going to hold my hand. No, I'm not when I say this. If you have an Airbnb and you have a Trump Vance sign up, just know that some black people, some brown people, some white people, some people that love education, some people that don't like to be touched inappropriately are not going to want to stay at your Airbnb. Heaven Gate Farms or Far From Heaven Forums or whatever it was, like it's going to be a no for most of us. As a matter of fact, ma'am, if you are the one who booked this Airbnb, please make sure you do your review, because I think a majority of us are not going to want to stay there. I, for one, am going to vote no. I am okay. I don't even want to look at your Heaven's Gate Farms, Far From Heaven Farms. I can't even remember what it is. I don't want to be there. It's a no for me. This administration doesn't like brown people, doesn't like black people, doesn't like people who are some white, some of them with disabilities, older people, people with education, none of them. Why would we want to be there? It's a no. But ma'am, please post your review, because if she takes the sign down, I still don't want to stay. I'm good. Okay, bye.
As a black woman who lives in North Carolina, who's very familiar with Asheville and Buncombe County, I can tell you this is not just a sign. This is not just politics. It's not just a vote. It's a warning sign. And you know exactly who it's warning. This sign says, you don't want me here. This sign says, you love to return to a time where people like me had to use the back door and couldn't even stay here. And it says, if something happens to me on this property, I better not count on anybody coming to help. You can pretend it's about the economy. You can lie to yourself and say it's about freedom. But this sign screams white comfort over black safety every damn time. So let's be real. You're not trying to host. You're trying to post up with that same energy that built sundown towns, lynched my people, and burned crosses. You just traded your hood and robe for this sign and a front porch. So no, I wouldn't stay. I wouldn't unpack. And at this point, I'm glad you put this out here, because I wouldn't even book your Airbnb. Your yard sign says I'm not safe, and I believe it. And no, I'm not scared, but I'm not stupid either. So I hope many others take note of the name of your company and where it is so they don't book either.
Hello guys, and welcome to the Joy Report, where we get an outsider's view with an insider's clarity. It didn't take long, just a few minutes. In fact, for one Airbnb guest to decide they'd seen enough, they took one look at the bright red MAGA flag waving proudly and turned right back around. No argument, just a simple walkout. The host, however, was mad. She took to social media to vent what she saw as unfair treatment, calling out the guests for being intolerant and disrespectful. But the internet had other ideas, and the backlash was swift. Most people didn't sympathize with the host at all. In fact, many were quick to point out that when you decide to mix politics and business, especially in such a loud and aggressive way, you can't be shocked when people walk away. Let's watch a few more videos and I'll come back with my final commentary. As always, all credit goes to the creators of these videos.
You get to the Airbnb that you have reserved in Lexington, North Carolina, and you see a Trump flag. What do? Do you stay or do you leave? There's a farm called the Outskirts of Heaven Farm in Lexington, North Carolina, who is complaining because someone who wanted to pay their money to stay in a house, on a farm, on your farm, they loved what they saw, but once they pulled up, it was giving get out vibes. There was a Trump flag, and she saw that and she left. So then the owner of the home, of the Airbnb home, goes to TikTok and is complaining because she didn't even stay 5 minutes and get to see what the house was about. She didn't need to stay 5 minutes. She already saw everything that she needed to see with that one flag. But I do wonder what the homeowner thought that the flag represented that would be received in a positive, business-like way. That flag does not represent safety, common sense, human decency, or anything of that nature. I don't really know what she thought, but what I can tell you is once you put that, you broadcast it, that's what you like, that's what you do, there's a whole new line. There's some things that you kind of think about, is it worth it? That has become a trigger, a whatever the word is, but there's the biggest divide, as we all know, that has been caused with that one word, with that one color of a cap, with that one slogan of making something great that really was not great to begin with.
Well, needless to say, this person is getting a lot of flack in their comments and probably did not know they were going to go viral for all the wrong reasons. But for people who just still don't get it, it would be as if we were to drive up to your property and you were showing or displaying a Nazi flag or a KKK hood, something like that. That is what we correlate this to. And we're taking it serious. And anyways, for those who are waking up and leaving MAGA, I invite you to go check out Friendly Honey Badger. That is her username. Here on TikTok. She was part of the Mormon cult, and it took her years to get out of it and process it and go through therapy. And now she helps others get out of cult, and she does talk about everything in a really good digestible way. Where, like, for right now, if you're leaving MAGA, you are really coming to terms with your belief system and really coming to terms with, having to admit that maybe us on this side of history is right. And I'm not saying I'm a left. I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent. I don't like either party. I would love a different party to vote on, but that's a whole separate video. But the point is yes, if you are displaying your MAGA still to this day, like in this day, if you're still on the side of MAGA, we see you as a Nazi. Full stop.
The Airbnb in question is a quiet countryside listing in North Carolina. Right out front, a huge flag with bold MAGA branding left no doubt about the host's political views. That's where the trouble began. The guests who booked the place clearly hadn't noticed the political signage beforehand, but as soon as they arrived and saw that massive Trump flag waving in the wind, they made the decision to cancel and leave immediately. The host claimed they barely stayed 5 minutes. What followed was a now viral rant from the host, where she expressed disbelief that someone could be so offended by a flag. She said she was tired of the political divide and claimed that she had every right to express herself on her own property. And sure, she does. But what the internet quickly reminded her is this: when you're running a business, especially one in the hospitality industry, you are providing a service, not inviting people into a political rally. The overwhelming response was that if you want to host people from all walks of life, you need to create a neutral and welcoming environment. The MAGA flag, for many people, represents division, hostility, and exclusion. It's not just a political preference, it's a symbol that carries heavy weight in today's America. So no, it's not unreasonable for a guest to feel uncomfortable or even unsafe around it. When you bring politics or religion into your business, especially in such a bold way, you risk alienating customers. That's just business 101. You keep your personal beliefs personal and your business professional. And this is the irony. MAGA supporters have often criticized people for being too sensitive or woke. But now, here was a MAGA who's crying foul over someone choosing to walk away peacefully. The guest simply saw the flag and left. That was it. If anything, it was one of the most polite forms of protest someone could make, by choosing not to engage at all. Whether you're left-leaning or conservative, no one wants to walk into a vacation rental and feel like they're stepping into enemy territory. Airbnb guests are paying for comfort, safety, and neutrality, not a debate. The message was clear. Believe whatever you want in your personal life, but don't bring it into your business if you can't handle the consequences. In the end, this wasn't just a story about one cancelled booking. It was a classic FAFO moment. The host flew her flag proudly, but she forgot that freedom of expression goes both ways. Just like she had the right to display the flag, the guests had every right to leave, and the public had every right to judge. When you run a business, perception matters, and if you create an environment where people don't feel safe or welcome, then they will take their money elsewhere. So what do you all think? Would you cancel an Airbnb stay if you saw a political or religious flag on the property? And do you think politics and business should stay separate, especially in hospitality? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to keep this discussion going. Otherwise, that's it for me. I also have a FAFO playlist, and if you enjoy such kind of content, please click up here and enjoy. Also, consider subscribing, liking and sharing because it helps me grow my channel and helps YouTube recommend this video to a wider audience. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and until the next time, the Joy Report out.